All right, my friends, I had a request for something that I just assumed that people already knew. And yet there's some people that are new to Revit, some people that are just getting into working with central files and local files and how that whole thing works. And so this is fairly basic. I know that most of you work in work sharing files, but some of you don't. And so this video is going to explain work sharing and how to create a central file and start using local copies to work. And so even that conversation right there may be new to some of you. So let me just start at the beginning. And so if you already know all this, you can probably skip this video. But for you that don't quite understand or know about work sharing and how Revit works, this video is for you. Okay, so let's just start at the very, very beginning. You could be working on a project by yourself, completely by yourself. And you put in the walls and the doors and the windows, and you're starting to work. But if you get to a place in Revit on the project where you need other people to be working with you, that's when you turn on work sharing, okay? And you create your central file, okay? So here is it in a nutshell, okay? When you get to the point when you need help, I'm going to show you the process of converting your normal file into a work sharing file. But before we go there, I'm going to show you how it is existing, how it currently works, and then how it works as we move forward. Okay, so let me just share my screen, and here we are. There we go. Okay, so let's just say here I am in my project, and I'm working along, clickety, clickety, click, and I'm working. When I save, I'm going to save this thing for the first time. I've been working a lot here, and I need to save. And so I hit save button, and I'm going to put it in a directory called Revit Locals. That's just a directory that I've got on my server. And I'm going to call it Mike's Great Building, okay? Mike's Great Building. And I hit save, okay? So when I save it the first time, wait for it, it's saving. Bam, we're saved. Okay, so when I get my cursor back, there we go. Now let's go look at that directory really fast. Revit Locals, where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Revit Locals. There it is. Look, Mike's Great Building. Oh, it's saved perfectly fine. Okay. So let's say we add something else. We do some more work to this thing. Create similar, la, la, la. I'm just creating a wall, whatever. And I had an error because this wall conflicts with a window upstairs, whatever, okay? And I put a door on there. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful little door. And I'm gonna put a window right here, WN on the keyboard, window. And let's say architecture window, let's just place, what window am I placing? Curtain Walmart, no, let's put a window, a first floor window right there. Yay, oh, I'm loving my project. When I hit save, ding, I just hit save, only takes a second. Let's go look at that directory. Look what it did. It has two full-blown Revit files now. The one that I used to have becomes, it has numbers after it, 0001. And the current one I'm working in doesn't have any zeros in it. That's how Revit does. And these are full-blown Revit files. They're not truncated. They're not less than a normal working file. If something ever happened to your this file that I'm working in, like it got corrupted, I could delete this file and I could rename this one by getting rid of the zeros and the one there or whatever number it is, and I've got a full working project, okay? Let's go again. Here I am changing things. I want this wall. I want this wall to be out further. La, la, la. I like that. I'm going to hit save. Yes, take a look. When I come down and look at my directory, look at that. Another iteration. And these are full project. In fact, let me move my face out of the way and we'll get some details here. View. I want to view details. Okay, take a look. The Revit file size is iterating. I mean, it's full size Revit files, 35,000 K. Okay, just showing you that it is the files are full size Revit files, and it keeps iterating. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, now let me just finish and say, depends on what I have set as the number of files. Let me see. Let me change something. I'll change the door swing going the different direction. There we go, and hit save. Okay, save, save, save. And what? Yep, 1, 2, 3. Now let's go change something else. I'm going to delete this window or move it. There we go. Move the window. Save again. I know this is boring some of you, but wait for it. Now take a look. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It keeps on going depending on how many you have set. Okay. So let me just show you how you can set the number of backup files that it will create. Okay. Let's just, look at that. I'm going to highlight them all and delete them. They're all gone. Okay. So if I have a file that I'm working on, let me just go back to Revit. If I say file, save as a project, I'm going to save this as a project. I'm going to give it the same name so that it just overwrites the same one. But when you do a save as, that's when you can set the number of backups that it's going to make. So let me go to options, and it says right here that the number of backups is 20. Well, if I change that number to something lower, like 2, just to say 2, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to hit save. Now, it's only going to keep 2 backups in that directory and not just keep going all the way to 20 in there. Okay, so let's look at my folder. Yep, there's 1. Okay, so let's change something. Change the door swing again, la, 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 whatever. And then save. You guys with me? Wait for it. Let's go back. There's 2. Now, I've told it to only keep 2 backups. Let's see what happens when I save yet again. Okay, so I'm going to copy this window. Love it. Copy it down here. Okay, there we go. Got 2 windows. I'm going to hit save. Now, what do you think happened? I told it to only have 2 backups. So let's just take a look. Yes, there's only 2 in there. What it did is it ditched the first one, and it's only keeping number 2 and 3. And it'll keep doing this. When I get up to 77, 78, 79, 80, it will only keep 2 because I told it to only keep 2 backups. Okay, so I'm just letting you know how this works. Those are full-blown copies, and it's only keeping the last 2. And if I want to change that number, I have to do a save as. Okay, so this is just a normal Revit file. Okay, now I'm going to get rid of my backups so that we can have a clean directory here again. Now, we're about to turn this into a central file. Right now is the time when you should change your file name to what it's going to be long-term. Because once this is a central file and other people are linking into it working, and I'll get to that in a second. If you just come in here and rename this, like instead of Mike's Great Building, right now I can change this thing. Mike's Great Building, it's probably going to disallow me to change it because I'm in it. Mike's Great Architect's Office, okay? Office. When I go, I think it's going to yell at me. See, hey, it's opened. You can't be changing it while it's still opened. I'm going to say cancel, okay? You can't change its name while you're in it. So if I were to close it, wait for it, I'm going to go back to Revit and File, close, okay? Close. I closed it. Now I can change it. I'm going to change the name. I'm going to go to that directory, And this is the time for you to change the name of your file if you want to. So Mike's Great Building, but I'm going to put a couple things in here. Like an important thing is what version I'm in. So I just put an underscore and I write R21 because I'm in Revit 20. Wait, I'm in 22. R2022. This is your chance to name the file, okay? Because when I go to open it, I'll say open and go to R22 and open it. See, you can change the name while you're not in it when it is a normal Revit file. But this, again, is your chance to change it and get the name exactly how you want it. Can you change it later? Yes, and I can show you how to do that. But right now, I just wanted to show you now how to make this thing into a central file. Now, a central file means it's kind of like the central main brain. And you're not going to be working in the central main brain anymore after we turn it into a central file. You're going to close it and you'll be working in local files is what it's called, okay? So the central main brain is going to sit, this is my fist here, is the central main brain on the computer. And what you do is when you go to get a local off of it, and I'm going to show you that, what it does is it makes a copy of it, an exact copy of it, and you work in the copy. And you can save your copy as many times as you want. It's not going to update central until you synchronize. And then it pushes your changes that you've made over into the central file so that other people can see those changes. And then somebody else links in and gets themselves a copy. They'll be able to see your changes because you synchronized, and then they save. They save. They change things. Maybe they're working on the reflective ceiling plan. Maybe they're working on the stairs. They're working on something other than what you're working on. They can save, but when they synchronize, it updates the central file. That way you get to see the changes. You see that? So there's a central file that's going to be on your server, and different people are going to be working on their own separate local files. When they synchronize, it updates the central model. Okay, so that being said, here's how you turn your file into a central model so that other people can work on it. Okay, here we go. So when you've got your file to the place where you think other people need to help you, like I need someone else to do the windows and the schedules, I need to be working on the roof, or I need to be, see, we need other people in this project. Here's how you turn it into a central file. It's not a central yet. Here's how you do it, okay? You come up here, ready? You click on collaborate, and then you click on the collaborate button. And if you're in an older set of, an older version of Revit, you can click on the work sets button and that will turn it on. But let's just stick with where we are right now. I'm gonna click on collaborate. And a question is gonna come up. Do I want to collaborate within my network, which is on my computer, or do I want to connect and collaborate with others up in BIM 360 in the cloud? Well, this example today, I'm just going to show you, is working on my server, okay, right here in my network. So I make sure that radio button is checked and I hit OK. So what it does when I say OK, it converts this thing into a central file that gives other people the ability to work inside the file at the same exact time, okay? So it spins a little bit and it converts, it's enabling work sharing right now. It's converting the file into a specialized file, okay? So wait for it to spin a little bit. It's converting right now. There we go. Now, this thing is a central file, but it's not been saved yet as a central file. The one that's on my directory here is still the old one, okay? It's still the old normal file that only one person can work in at a time. But this one's been converted, and once I hit, look up here at the top left, there's a save button, okay? The synchronize, which looks like a little box right next to it, is grayed out because this is not a, I haven't saved it yet. But I'm just going to say it that way. We haven't saved yet. So I'm going to hit save. Bam, I hit the save button and it throws up a warning. Warning, 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 danger, Will Robinson. It says this is the first time that the project's ever been saved as a work sharing one. Are you sure you want to go with this? Okay. And so it says it's going to be a central model after this. Do you want to do that? And I say yes, because that's why I click that button. Okay. So it saves this thing now down as on my server, and it is overwriting the other one that was not essential. It is now, wait for it, 10%, 20, 30, 40. It's going. I'm watching it 50, 60, 70, 80, 9, and ready, and done. Come on, done. Wait for it. Oh boy. There we go. Okay, now it is saved down onto my server as a central file. And if you look up in the top left now, you'll notice the save button is grayed out and only synchronize is available. You guys see that up in the top left here? If you see that the save button is grayed out and only synchronize is available, that means you are inside the central file. And we don't want that anymore. We want to be out of the central file so other people can link in and work. So this is only a temporary situation because we're going to get out of this thing in a second. Here's what we do, okay? We need to click Relinquish All Mine button because basically I own all the doors, and I own, because I'm the one that worked on it before, I own all the doors, and I own all the windows, and I own all the walls and the roof. I own everything. And my name is technically attached to every single thing in the project. But when I click Relinquish All Mine, it gets my name off of everything. It clears the slate, okay? So that other people will be able to work. Just work with me. So we saved, and now we hit Relinquish All Mine, and then we synchronize. And what that does, it brings up this dialog box. And this dialog box says, hey, this is going to synchronize the synchronize with central. And I'm going to hit OK right here. Bam. Okay. And it is doing its first sync. Okay. The first time it was a save. Now this time it's a synchronize. Now that I've synchronized with my name off of everything, it's clean and it's ready for everybody to work on it, but I need to get out of it. So I hit File, Close, and I get out of the file. Okay, I'm out of it. Okay, gone. Now, watch this. When I want to work on it, I do not open the central file anymore. The program automatically will make a copy called a local, and that's the one I work in. And whenever I change something, I hit synchronize to update central. And everybody's going to do that. At this point right here, you could say to your team, you could send out an email to all the people on your team that says, okay, I have created a central file. You can all now get local files. And here's the process that they go about or do to get a local. You say open, okay? You always click on open. Don't go clicking right here on these big buttons any longer. You click on open, and I want to show you what we have in that directory now. This file here is now a central file, and it has a backup of itself, okay? The backup directory is where it's keeping track of the changes. From now on, whenever we hit synchronize, it is going to only keep track of what changed. It's not going to make the 3 or the 2 or the 20 full backups of itself any longer. It's only going to keep track of changes in that directory called backup. So don't don't delete that backup directory ever. You got to leave it because that gives you the ability to roll back your file to a previous save if you ever needed to. Like if you need to go back to last week or go back to last month, if it hasn't been overwritten, because I only told it to have 2 backups. Ooh, dear, not good. Probably should leave it at 20, in my humble opinion. Just leave the number at 20. And that way, if I synchronize once a day, I have 20 days of backup. But if I synchronize twice a day, I only have 10 days of backup. Do you see how that works? So work with me here. If I sit there and I click synchronize, synchronize, synchronize 20 times, I basically can't roll back 2 weeks ago. I can't roll back 1 week or even yesterday because I can only roll back 5 minutes ago because that's how long it took me to click synchronize 20 times. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, here we go. When I want to open this file and get a local, I highlight the central, and you'll see right here in Revit, it says, it's got that checkbox all ready for you. Create a new local is checked. It's pre-checked. Revit does that for you. So all I have to do is hit open, and what it does, it makes right now it's making a copy, and I'm going to be working in the copy. And I'll show you how you know you're in a copy in a moment, okay? If you are working in a local file, up at the top left corner, you won't have one of those 2 buttons grayed out. You'll have the Save button available, and you'll have Synchronize available. That is the easiest way for you to know you are in a local file because you have both options. When I go to my plan and I go to change something here, let's change this. Let's put a window on the other side. I'm going to put a window on the other side of the building. There, I made a change. When I hit save, it saves my local. That's all it did. It saved my local, but that central file doesn't have that information in it yet. I can move this window up a little bit, and then I can copy it. I'm going to hit copy downward down to here. So I made a change, and if I hit save, again, it only saved my local file, my local copy, okay? And that local copy is not, it hasn't pushed that into central yet. So if anybody else right now got their own local, they wouldn't see those windows yet because I haven't pushed them into central. But wait, once I'm going to click on Synchronize button, it pops up this dialog box and it tells me what it's going to do. It is going to relinquish me from everything that I've borrowed, which means anything I've touched and edited, like those windows, or if I had those 2 windows are the only thing that are borrowed right now that other people can't mess with. We'll get into understanding that later. But right now, it's going to relinquish my name off of those 2 windows. And look what it says right here, this checkbox. Leave this checkbox here. It's going to save my local before and after it synchronizes with central. So when I hit this OK button, it's going to save my local, then it's going to synchronize, and then it's going to save my local again. It's kind of like double duty, super save, basically. So I'm going to hit OK. When I hit OK, wait for it, it just pushed my changes now into the central file. So right now, if someone were to get a local file off of the central, they'll see those 2 windows. Or if someone does a synchronize, if they've already been in the file, they could do a synchronize, and then they would see my, my changes. Because during the process of synchronizing, not only does it push your changes that you made into the central file, but it also updates your local with all the changes that other people have done and synchronized. So that right there, so that I just pushed that to the central file. So if I say, I could say right now, I could say close file, close. and go home for the day because I have synchronized. Basically, don't go home at the end of the day unless you've synchronized, because you need to push your changes into the central file so that other people can use that information if they're going to stay late, or what if they come in tomorrow morning earlier than you. You always want to synchronize before you leave the office. Okay. So right now, if I went to new, not new, what am I saying? Open, this is like next day. Okay. I'm going to go to, now first, what you're seeing in here, the one that has my name in it is my local file. Okay. And I also have a local backup so that let me just expand it all the way so you can see it. I have a local backup file, but this one right here is the central file. And that central file has its own backup. So if I want to work in the project, when I come back the next day, I would click on open, and then I highlight the central file again. And sure enough, it says create a new local. Yes, I don't want to use yesterday's local. I just want to get a new one. Watch what happens. When I hit open, it's going to give me a dialog that says, warning, warning. Do you want to overwrite yesterday's copy of your local? I'm like, yeah, I synchronized. But if I didn't synchronize, if for some reason I forgot to synchronize with Central, I would have actually opened my local and synchronized. But because I know that I did synchronize, I'm getting a new local, and I'm going to hit this top button, overwrite existing copy. If I was unsure and I didn't really know if I synchronized or not, and I just wanted to get working, I could hit this bottom one, append the timestamp to the existing copy. And that would give me a new local and not overwrite my old one, so that I would have two actually. And that's probably a bad idea. So don't go there. Just get a new local and overwrite the existing one, because you're always going to remember to synchronize before you go home at the end of the day, because I just told you to. Remember to synchronize before you go home. So overwrite existing copy, I'm going to click that button. It gives me a new local this morning, and it brings in all of the changes that other people have done to this model during the night or before I got in. They could have got in earlier than me. So when I open the plan up, I'm ready to work. Okay. So I think that's all you have to do. So basically, I've shown you guys how to create a central file from a regular file. Okay. And after you create the central, don't open central anymore. It messes with other people. It blocks them from getting any work done. So stay out of the central file. Always get yourself a new local every day and just overwrite the one from yesterday. That way you don't have 50 or 60 of these things piling up on you. Just overwrite the one from yesterday each time, because you're going to remember to synchronize before you leave the office. All right. Well, I think that's all I wanted to tell you. I know that that was basic information, and yet some people are not sure how to do that. And so this video was for you. All right. So until we meet again, you guys have a fantastic day. Work in local files, but now that you know how to create them. Okay. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Happy Reviting, and bye-bye.